Guys, what's going on? Doug back again, Recording Connection Audio Institute. This is time-based effects. We've already done a video on how to set up a delay. So now let's add some other elements, some time-based effects elements to the session that we have going right now. Just to give you a quick example of some of the things that you can do and some of the areas you can explore with the world of time-based effects. So understand that we obviously can't demo everything for you. We encourage you to set up and try as many of the plugins that you have as possible to get familiar with some of the things that are out there and available to you. So we've already got the delay going, so let's hear that again so we can get familiar with kind of where we're at.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not mine. Don't want the light that shines on me. I close my eyes, I don't want to see.
So sounds good with a little delay on there. Let's add some other things to it. Now here's where routing really starts to play a key role here, because you want to be conscious of what you're routing to what place. So that delay is good, so we're going to leave that the way it is and really not touch it. We're going to add a reverb, and then I'm going to come down, I'm going to add a phaser, and I'm going to add a flanger. So we'll start with a reverb. I'm just going to use a deverb on there. And we'll use a hall to try and emulate a cool effect here. So just like this, what we need to do is we need to set an input channel for each one of these time-based effects. So each one is going to get its own specific input. So I'm going to use this 17, 18, 19, 20. 20, 21. Don't know what this is going to be yet, but we'll leave it here. 23, 24. Now, we're getting a lot of inputs. There's a lot of channels that are dedicated for a lot of different things. So to better keep track of this, what I'm going to do is come over to my I/O setup, and then I'm going to go to my buses, and then I'm going to rename those channels, right? So 17, 18, let's see, 15, 16. I'm going to double click that. That's going to be delay. 17, 18, reverb. 19, 20 is phase. And this one's going to be flange. And, once we decide what the other one's going to be, we'll rename that in a second. So now you see all my inputs have changed now to their respective, corresponding time-based effect. It helps me to better keep track of things. It is particularly useful once you get up into sessions that are, 30, 40, 50, 60 tracks. Keeping track of what's sent to where is definitely key. So I'm going to send this... this first one, this vocal track off to a reverb, and I've got a hall on there now, so I've got to make sure I have my send level up. Now let's play around with some levels and see how it sounds.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not.
So here's with reverb, and here's
every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground.
So definitely notice a big difference there. You know what we can also do that's that will definitely help us is we can send our delay also out to that same reverb. So I will send the delay so that both the reverb and both the original signal and the delayed signal are reverberated, so it'll sound good.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
So now everything is reverberated. Everything is, we got our delay in place. I don't need to automate that reverb. I just want to keep it on there, keep it simple. So that's set up, and we can send anything I want. Now, the cool thing about time-based effects is you can send anything that you want out to those reverbs or those delays. So let's try sending the drum line now to the delay and just see what happens.
Every time you walk around.
So it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because we didn't send anything out. I got to make sure I have this fader up.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground.
So you hear it going on there. What would be cool would be to send the delay at the same place that the actual voice goes to the reverb. So what I can do is I can check what my send automation is. Let me grab this. I think I did a mute. Yeah, mute. Oh, no. Okay, so now let me grab this one. So I have some automation that's written here. If I just copy this, Command-C, and then paste in the same place, now that delay is going to be sent out at the same time that the vocal is. So let's hear how that sounds.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to...
So it's like a cool little effect that... Ooh, I heard something I didn't like. Let me change this over. I don't want this at all.
Every time you walk around.
So hear how it goes down in pitch?
Every
So it goes up in pitch.
the ground.
So that's a little bit better. That low pass filter was actually causing it to go down in pitch as the reverb decay died out. So we took that off. So let's go with adding a phaser to it.
Every time you walk around,
So for each send, we have to set up a different. For each time-based effect, we'll set up a different send.
every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
So we got a lot going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these two for right now.
Every time you walk,
So I can only hear the phaser now.
every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want.
So let's just do this nice and easy by using a preset.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
So key component here.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
So that's kind of cool. We'll leave that and we'll add the other two and see how it sounds.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
So it definitely sounds cool. I think we'll leave it. Then we'll add a phaser, a flanger. Remember that you want to have your mix knobs all the way up to 100 because we're using these on an aux. That means it's the mix between the wet and the dry signal. So if we're using these as a time-based effect on an aux, then we definitely want to have our mix we want the 100% wet signal that's mixing with this dry signal over here. If you need more clarification about that, definitely call in and get some tutoring or ask your mentor. But because it is kind of important to make sure that we're having 100% wet signal or affected signal mixing in with our original dry signal here.
Every time you walk.
So just like the other ones, I want to keep track of what I'm doing by getting rid of all the other effects so I can just hear the flanger.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand.
I'm starting with a little bit more.
Every time you walk around.
Oh, excuse me. Got to create my send here.
Every time. Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not mine. Don't want the light that shines on me.
Let me just turn my output down for a minute here.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not mine. Don't want the light that shines on me. I close my eyes, I don't want to see.
So that's kind of a cool effect.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the.
So let's add everything else to the mix and see what we can do about mixing these together.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground.
Now I can actually mix these just like I would anything else.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not mine. Don't want the light that shines on me. I close my eyes, I don't want to see.
So some very cool stuff going on. Let's see what else we can add to this mix here. Let's add a chorus. So just like that, I'm going to name that. Also, I'm going to set an input, and I'm going to rename that input so that I can keep track of what's going on here. And if you create this workflow, it'll be, early on, it'll help you out in the long run here. So now I've got everything named. And let me pull this up. Need to add one more here. Send it out to the chorus. So we're all sending these out to each individual place. Adjust the send, and then adjust my parameters. But first I want to get rid of all the rest of these so I can just hear the chorus.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When you try to take my hand, I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you're not mine.
So that's a cool effect.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground.
So now let's add everything in there again.
Every time you walk around, I feel my feet don't touch the ground. When when you try to take my hand. I hope one day you'll understand. I don't want the sun to shine because I know that you.
And you can add EQ. I mean, typically in this situation, there's some elements I like and elements I don't like. I would actually mix these a little bit more if I wanted to use this many time-based effects on this actual vocal, and then I would mix them more to kind of carve frequencies out. I can compress these things. All the tools that I use for mixing are going to, transfer over. If I want to send one of these reverbs or delays or, send something to somebody else, I can do that all here. So you can tell here there's a lot of versatility as far as what we can do, with the stuff that we are given by using plugins and by taking advantage of processing. Also, I can employ the use of Audio Suite plugins and do a ton of other stuff here. So you've got a lot of tools at your disposal. The key is to learn and familiarize yourself with what these things do, and then find applications in which they are useful. So that's it for now, guys. There's plenty more to come. Take care.